The blinding sun of the New Mexico desert has always held a certain mystique for Hollywood filmmakers, offering a vast, untamed canvas where stories of grit, survival, and human endurance can be brought to life against a backdrop of ancient dust and endless horizons. There is a peculiar magic that happens when a production crew descends upon these isolated landscapes, transforming the quiet, arid wilderness into a bustling hive of creativity where hundreds of individuals work in unison to capture a single moment of cinematic brilliance. For actors, stepping onto these massive sets is often a thrilling yet deeply humbling experience, as they are forced to confront the raw elements of nature while attempting to maintain the poise and focus required for their craft. The grandeur of such environments naturally breeds a sense of awe, but beneath the spectacular visuals lies an environment that is inherently unpredictable and frequently unforgiving, demanding absolute respect from everyone involved. Film history is filled with tales of productions that push the boundaries of safety in pursuit of authentic spectacle, where the line between a carefully choreographed stunt and a genuine catastrophe becomes terrifyingly thin. It is in these moments of high-stakes filmmaking that the true nature of the individuals involved is put to the test, far away from the polished glamour of red carpets and controlled studio environments. As viewers, we often sit in the comfort of darkened theaters, mesmerized by the seamless action unfolding on the silver screen, entirely unaware of the invisible dangers that hovered just inches outside the camera frame or the split-second decisions that prevented a routine day of shooting from turning into a tragedy. This hidden world of cinematic risk and unscripted bravery is a reminder of the immense human effort and occasional peril that goes into creating the stories we love, making the bond between the cast members who share these intense experiences incredibly profound. Before we dive deeper into the harrowing details of this incredible story and explore the chaotic events that unfolded on that fateful afternoon, take a quick moment to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on our exclusive, in-depth breakdowns of the most gripping behind-the-scenes moments in Hollywood history. To truly understand the gravity of what transpired during the production of this particular blockbuster, one must first appreciate the unique creative ambition that drove the project from its very inception, bringing together an extraordinary ensemble of Hollywood heavyweights. The film sought to blend two vastly different genres, combining the rugged, grounded realism of a traditional American Western with the high-concept, spectacular visual effects of a modern science fiction thriller. This bold narrative experiment required a stellar cast capable of grounding the absurd premise in deep emotional reality, leading to the casting of iconic figures who embodied the archetype of the rugged cinematic hero. Alongside established legends whose names had been synonymous with box office success and rugged masculinity for decades, the film featured a wave of incredibly talented rising stars who brought fresh energy and a fierce dedication to their roles. Among this elite group of performers was a highly accomplished actress known for her versatility, intelligence, and a fearless approach to physical roles, who viewed the project as an incredible opportunity to challenge herself in a completely new environment. Having spent her entire life around horses and possessing a deep-rooted passion for equestrian sports, she felt a profound sense of comfort and familiarity when she learned that the role would require extensive riding through the treacherous desert terrain. For an actor, having a real-world skill that aligns perfectly with a character's demands is a rare luxury, and she approached the training phase with an immense amount of confidence and enthusiasm, eager to showcase her abilities alongside some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. The atmosphere on set during the initial weeks of filming was charged with a competitive yet collaborative spirit, as this stellar cast bonded over the shared challenges of mastering the demanding physical requirements of a period piece set in the unforgiving Wild West. However, the world of Western filmmaking possesses its own distinct set of rules and hidden dangers, particularly when it comes to the style of writing demanded by the genre, which stands in stark contrast to the structured disciplines practiced elsewhere. The actress, despite her extensive lifelong experience in the saddle, had been primarily trained in the precise, balanced English style of writing, which emphasizes a close connection with the horse and a highly controlled environment. Western riding, by contrast, is born out of the practical necessities of working cattle across vast open ranges, utilizing a completely different saddle design, longer stirrups, and a philosophy that grants the horse a greater degree of autonomy while requiring the rider to adapt to sudden, explosive shifts in movement. As the production rolled into its second month of principal photography in the scorching desert, A subtle shift began to occur among the core group of actors who had spent countless hours training and riding together through the dust. The daily repetition of complex maneuvers and the exhilarating rush of galloping across the open plains gradually eroded the healthy sense of caution that usually governs high-risk film sets, replacing it with a dangerous wave of overconfidence. Surrounded by legendary co-stars who were famous for performing their own stunts, the actress found herself caught up in a quiet, unspoken competition, a collective desire among the performers to push their limits and deliver the most authentic, thrilling performances possible. They were no longer just actors reciting lines, they had fully immersed themselves in the personas of hardened frontier survivors. Moving with a collective bravado that blurred the line between calculated cinematic stunts and reckless real-world adrenaline, this growing sense of fearlessness reached its peak on a day scheduled for a massive, complex action sequence that required a level of coordination and scale rarely seen on modern film sets, involving not just the main actors but an enormous herd of horses. The script called for a breathtaking, high-speed charge across the desert floor, a pivotal moment in the narrative where the human characters would unite to face an overwhelming and otherworldly threat. To capture the sheer scale and chaos of this monumental confrontation, the director orchestrated a scene where the lead actors would gallop at a full, unrestricted sprint across the vast desert, leading a massive pack of roughly 40 horses charging directly behind them. The sheer physics of the scene were staggering, as the thundering hooves of dozens of powerful animals kicked up a blinding, suffocating cloud of dust that obscured the vision of both the riders and the camera crews stationed at a distance. In the midst of this chaotic, high-speed charge, the actress was riding at the absolute limit of her horse's speed, her adrenaline pumping as she kept pace with her iconic co-stars, completely unaware that a hidden geographical hazard lay directly in their path. The combination of intense speed, a heavy Western saddle that offered a different type of leverage than she was accustomed to, and the absence of standard modern safety gear like a protective helmet created a perfect storm of vulnerability. As the thundering collective moved like a force of nature across the cracked earth, the thin veneer of cinematic control began to fracture, setting the stage for a terrifying sequence of events that would leave one of Hollywood's brightest talents facing a sudden, horrific fight for survival in the middle of the desert. The absolute thrill of galloping at maximum velocity alongside some of the most celebrated figures in cinema history can easily cloud a person's judgment, masking the severe risks that are fundamentally inherent to working with powerful, unpredictable animals on unpaved terrain. As the massive pack of 40 horses accelerated across the New Mexico plains, the sound of their collective movement became a deafening roar, a rhythmic vibration that vibrated through the earth and filled the air with a thick, nearly impenetrable shroud of powdery desert dust. In that breathless moment of absolute momentum, the actress suddenly noticed an unexpected obstacle appearing rapidly in her line of sight, a massive, deep geographical trench cut into the desert floor that measured roughly 6 feet across. Her lifelong experience as an equestrian immediately triggered a split-second evaluation of the situation, and she realized with a surge of adrenaline that her speeding horse was committed to its trajectory and was going to attempt to leap clear over the massive ditch. In the English riding discipline that she had practiced for decades, a jump is a highly calculated, precise maneuver where the rider and animal move in perfect, fluid harmony, but a Western saddle presents a completely different set of physics, offering a wide, rigid structure that can act as a catapult if an animal shifts its weight unpredictably. As the powerful creature reached the edge of the chasm, it launched itself into the air, but rather than executing a clean, smooth arc, the horse bucked violently in midair. A sudden and chaotic contortion of its muscles that completely severed the actress's connection to the stirrups and sent her flying helplessly through the sky. The sheer violence of the ejection threw her body high into the air before gravity took over, slamming her down onto the hard, sun-baked earth on the far side of the dirt ridge with a sickening impact that immediately knocked the breath from her lungs. The physical trauma of the fall was instantaneous and severe, as her uncovered head and back absorbed the full force of the collision with the rocky desert floor, leaving her disoriented, dazed, and completely immobilized in the dirt. Because she had landed just beyond the elevated lip of the trench, she was effectively hidden from the view of the massive wave of riders charging directly behind her, creating an incredibly perilous blind spot in the middle of a high-speed stunt. The suffocating cloud of dust kicked up by the lead horses settled over her fallen form, reducing visibility on the field to near zero and ensuring that the oncoming riders had absolutely no way of knowing a human body was lying helpless in their direct path. Lying flat on her side with her ear pressed hard against the vibrating ground, the actress could not see the approaching danger, but the auditory feedback was terrifyingly clear, as the sound of 80 incoming hooves resembled a localized thunderstorm rolling directly toward her position. In those agonizing seconds of absolute helplessness, a profound and eerie clarity washed over her mind as she listened to the approaching thunders, leading her to the calm, detached conclusion that her life was about to end right there in the dirt. She knew with absolute certainty that if a single one of those heavy, fast-moving animals stepped on her exposed torso or head, the result would be instantaneous and fatal, a violent erasure that she internally conceptualized as being turned into pulverized applesauce. There was no time to scream, no room to maneuver, and no possibility of crawling to safety. She could only lie perfectly still in the blinding dust, waiting for the inevitable impact of the charging herd to crush the life out of her body. What happened next is a testament to the extraordinary reflexes, profound spatial awareness, and selfless bravery that occasionally manifests in the most critical moments of human crisis, forever altering the trajectory of what should have been a fatal accident. Moving within the dense pack of charging horses was a seasoned, highly respected character actor who had spent years mastering the art of Western riding, developing an intuitive understanding of horse behavior and an uncanny ability to read the chaotic flow of a fast-moving group. From his position in the middle of the thundering herd, through the swirling vortex of dust and debris, his sharp eyes caught a fleeting, split-second glimpse of the actress being launched from her saddle and disappearing behind the dirt ridge. While the other riders remained entirely focused on maintaining their forward momentum and keeping their balance in the blinding haze, this actor instantly processed the lethal reality of the situation. Realizing that his co-star was lying completely helpless and invisible directly in the path of the oncoming stampede, without a single moment of hesitation or regard for his own personal safety, he made a radical, instinctive decision to intervene, using his superior horsemanship to forcefully wrench his mount out of the established line of charge. He intentionally guided his heavy animal directly into the hazardous zone, executing a highly difficult and dangerous maneuver to position his horse completely sideways, creating a physical, living shield right in front of the actress's vulnerable, unmoving body. The sheer audacity and apparent recklessness of this sudden movement caught the surrounding riders completely off guard, as they suddenly found themselves rushing toward a stationary horse and rider blocking the path in the middle of a high-speed sprint. To the untrained eye, or to those caught up in the momentum of the scene, it appeared as though the actor had suddenly lost his mind or suffered a catastrophic loss of control, violating every established safety protocol of a synchronized Hollywood stunt sequence. The sudden appearance of a sideways obstacle forced the oncoming riders to make frantic, split-second adjustments, causing the massive pack of 40 horses to violently fracture and split into two distinct waves that bended frantically around his position. Animals and riders bashed repeatedly into his horse's flanks, creating a chaotic, bruising collision of muscle and leather as the stampede narrowly avoided a catastrophic pileup while screaming past the improvised barrier. Throughout the intense physical buffering, the actor held his ground with immense strength and poise, absorbing the violent impacts of the passing herd while steadfastly maintaining his defensive posture over the fallen actress. His deliberate, heroic intervention successfully deflected the lethal weight of the stampede away from her body, ensuring that the thundering hooves cleared her by mere inches on either side while she lay paralyzed with fear below. As the final echoes of the stampede faded into the desert and the thick curtains of dust slowly began to settle, the true magnitude of what he had accomplished began to dawn on the stunned production crew, who rushed forward to assess the damage after witnessing an act of bravery that completely transcended the boundaries of filmmaking. When the dust finally settled over the New Mexico desert and the immediate adrenaline of the crisis began to subside, the profound reality of what had just occurred sent shockwaves through the entire production. The actress, shaken but miraculously alive, was helped to her feet, deeply aware that she had just looked death in the face and escaped only through a display of pure heroism that seemed written for a movie script itself. In the years following that terrifying afternoon on the set of the science fiction western, she has frequently revisited the memory with a deep sense of vulnerability, openly acknowledging that she owes her very survival to the quick thinking of her co-star. She has described him as a real-life hero, an individual whose instantaneous calculation and mastery of horsemanship allowed him to execute a defensive maneuver that defied the chaotic physics of a stampede. The bond forged between them during those few seconds of extreme peril became an enduring testament to the unspoken camaraderie that exists among actors who endure the grueling, high-stakes environments of major action films. This harrowing incident highlights the immense unseen dangers of physical filmmaking, proving that even with meticulous planning, the natural world and the unpredictable behavior of animals can instantly shatter the illusion of safety, leaving human lives hanging in the balance. For the actress, the experience completely transformed her perspective on her career and her life, serving as a permanent reminder of the fragility of existence and the incredible capacity for selflessness that can emerge in the darkest moments of a crisis. The savior in this dramatic desert ordeal was none other than a widely respected character, a doctor known throughout the industry for his intense dedication, chameleonic performances, and exceptional physical capability on set. Born and raised with a deep appreciation for the outdoors, he had spent a lifetime honing his skills as a horseman, a quality that made him a perfect fit for the rugged character he portrayed in the film. His role as a tough, reliable frontiersman mirrored his real-world capabilities, allowing him to navigate the chaotic production with a level of confidence that proved vital when disaster struck. Rather than freezing or panicking when he saw his fellow performer fall into the path of danger, his instincts as a protector took over, enabling him to manipulate a massive animal with surgical precision under extreme pressure. This remarkable act of bravery did not just save a life. It cemented his reputation within the Hollywood community as a man of immense integrity and courage, someone who would willingly place himself in harm's way to protect a colleague. His humility in the aftermath of the event only added to his mystique, as he viewed the rescue not as an act of extraordinary heroism, but as a necessary and instinctual response to a fellow human being in desperate need of help. The deep gratitude expressed by the actress in the decades since that fateful day remains a powerful tribute to his character, ensuring that his legacy as a true protector will always be remembered alongside his impressive artistic achievements. Beyond the terrifying incident with the horses, the production of this ambitious genre-bending blockbusters served as a fascinating crossroads for a variety of incredibly talented individuals, each bringing their own unique histories and professional relationships to the desert set. Among the stellar ensemble cast was another highly acclaimed actor, a performer known for his intense emotional depth, quiet brilliance, and a reputation for being one of the kindest and most supportive individuals in the entire entertainment industry. The actress's connection to this particular co-star actually predated the filming of the Western by several years, stretching back to a time when she was working as a humble, low-level casting intern trying to find her footing in a notoriously competitive and aggressive industry. During those early days, she experienced firsthand the rigid hierarchies of Hollywood, where production assistants and interns are frequently treated as invisible, low-level staff members who receive very little respect or acknowledgement from established talents. However, this specific actor stood out as a beacon of genuine humanity and kindness, treating her with the utmost dignity, respect, and warmth, long before she ever achieved fame or recognition as an actress and director herself. When destiny eventually brought them back together as equals on the massive set of the Western, their reunion was filled with a sense of profound joy and mutual respect, allowing them to share an incredible experience that contrasted beautifully with the intense physical challenges of the shoot. Reflecting on these interconnected journeys reveals the intricate web of human relationships that define the filmmaking process, where moments of extreme danger, professional growth, and profound kindness all collide to shape the destinies of those involved. The actress, who would eventually transition into a highly successful director known for her sharp creative vision and compelling storytelling, often points to these early, formative experiences as crucial chapters in her artistic evolution. Surviving a near-fatal horse stampede and working alongside individuals of such immense character provided her with a deep understanding of the resilience required to thrive in a demanding industry. The film itself, which brought together the visionary direction of an iconic filmmaker and the star power of cinematic legends like Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford, remains a unique artifact in Hollywood history, a testament to an era when studios were willing to take massive creative risks on unprecedented genre mashups. Yet, while audiences will always remember the spectacular visual effects and the thrilling battles between cowboys and extraterrestrial invaders, the true heart of the film lies in the unscripted real-world human dramas that unfolded just beyond the edge of the screen. It is a story of a life preserved by an act of absolute selflessness, of old friendships rekindled in the desert dust, and of the enduring spirit of survival that transforms ordinary actors into real-life heroes when the cameras stop rolling.